equity. This is an audience participatory program. It's a current affairs discussion program. And today we're looking at the Federal Ministry of Livestock Development's proposal for land clearing in Benue State. By the way, my name is Fanen Kwan. I appreciate you for always staying tuned to our Gate Radio. Panelists on the program today are Dr. Aondaka Asambi, the Director General Bureau of Livestock Development and Transboundary Animal Diseases in Benue State. Dr. Asambi, it's a pleasure to have you in the studio this morning.
Yeah, good morning, my brother. Good morning, listeners. Good morning, the citizens of Benue.
Also with us is our public affairs commentator, Mr. Daniel Pillar. Good morning, Mr. Pillar.
Morning. It's my pleasure. Thank you, listeners.
All right, like I said earlier, it's an audience participatory program, so in due course, the phone lines will be opened for you to also join the conversation. But in the meantime, we have the SMS and WhatsApp number already active for you to start sending in your messages. And then you can do that through 09126999404. That is at 09126999404. And I also wish to state that this program, Agate Radio, does not, takes responsibility for the views of the guest on this program. They are solely there, through their freedom of expression. And callers also, whatever they say, Agate Radio does not take responsibility. It's clearly from their view and not the view of the organization. So thank you very much. We are starting this morning, and I would like to start with you, or the Director General Bureau for Livestock Development and Transboundary Animal Control. Can you provide us with more details about the proposal to clear the 500 hectares of land in the Livestock Breeding and Investigation Center, Ravgue's local government area? What is its intended purpose,
Okay, thank you. Let me start on this note. There is no proposal for clearance of land at Rav by the federal government.
Okay.
I want the people of Benue State to listen to the true story and stop parading the fabrications by people who do not love Benue and are out to incite the people against the good government of His Excellency, Governor Hyacinth Malia.
All right.
This bureau, where I heard, is a creation of His Excellency's directive on the 20th of December 2024. Upon the creation of this bureau, I took a facility tour of state government-owned livestock facilities across the state to assess their situation and their current conditions. After that tour, I started engagement with the stakeholders in the industry. I extended this stakeholder engagement to Abuja, and I met with the Minister of Livestock Development. I met with him twice this year, and I raised a memo from my office to the Honorable Minister profiling all the livestock facilities in Benue that are either moribund or are neglected, requesting for federal government intervention in resuscitating these livestock facilities. I made a memo to the Honorable Minister, including the facility in question at Rav. So in the course of the conversation, I decided to convene a livestock summit to bring together the critical stakeholders in this industry so that we would discuss the way forward for livestock development in Benue. So I extended an invitation to the Honorable Minister to grace the occasion. He obliged, he came. If you read the speech of His Excellency very well, he highlighted those livestock facilities I earlier wrote the Honorable Minister requesting for federal government intervention in reviving or resuscitating them. And His Excellency, while addressing the people that were at the summit, made a request to the Honorable Minister referencing the fact that the federal government is out to preserve the extinction, to conserve donkeys and stop their extinction. So he brought the issue to bear on Benue and made a special request that the Honorable Minister should also help Benue to preserve the Muturu breed of cattle, which we call here as Boativ. So that was on the first day of the summit. On the second day, the minister decided that, following my request and the governor's appeal to help preserve the Muturu breed of cattle that we see that are going into extinction, the minister decided that on the second day of the summit, he will visit some of the livestock facilities that we are making request for. So I led the delegation. I took the minister to Yandev for the swine project that we have in Yandev, the swine and crop improvement project. The minister was there. He assessed the place. He made some commitment from the side of the federal government. Only 79. The piggery production up to, we build a special abattoir dedicated strictly for the processing of pork. This was the first facility we paid a visit to. Thereafter, we moved to Rav at the place and asked me what the state would want to do in that particular facility. He asked, the question he put forward to me was, is it beef production you want here or is dairy? And my response to the Honorable Minister was that we will combine both. So he now suggested that as part of reviving the facility, we should clear 500 hectares out of the over 2,400 there, so that we will start further production preparatory for the reviving of the place. So I don't see any reason why people are sending out negative reports about this. They didn't make any negative report when the minister made a commitment that he was going to revive, help scale up the production of pigs. I don't see any reason whatsoever for the reactions that I am seeing in the media about this. There is no evidence anywhere. There is no single commitment with federal government to cede any land to anybody. These facilities are state government-owned facilities, and we still own them. We are only requesting for intervention because the funds at our disposal may not be enough to cater for all this.
Okay, thank you very much, DG, for providing perspective to that. But just before we continue, I'd like us to listen to some, insights that I have for, both for the governor, what he said at the summit, and also what the minister said, and then we'll continue from there. So I have some of that here.
It is our hope that the Federal Ministry of Livestock Development will take the lead in national legislative reforms to prohibit open grazing and promote ranch establishment nationwide. One of the critical takeaways I expect from this summit is an articulated roadmap for establishing ranches. I also wish to reaffirm our administration's commitment to the prohibition of open grazing as amended.
Okay, that's His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Benue State, Reverend Father Dr. Hyacinth Alia. So let's also listen to what the minister said at the occasion.
Ministry has digitized 417 grazing reserves and the grazing routes in the country, working with state governments, development partners, civil society organizations, traditional rulers, and pastoral organizations. The grazing reserves will receive the necessary infrastructure to turn them into communal ranches for the pastoralists. We are working with the pastoralists. Yesterday we ended a workshop with the pastoralists. We invited about 34 organizations from across the country to see how we are going to change the lifestyle and change the narrative. We want to see them resettle in those grazing reserves. These will include pasture development in the grazing reserves, veterinary clinics, schools for their children, family clinics, earth dams, boreholes, etc. Each grazing reserve will ultimately be a business hub for red meat, milk and dairy processing, bales of fodder, hides and skin collection centers.
Okay, and that's the voice of the Honorable Minister
Yes.
of Livestock Development. All right, so putting this side by side, do you think the state government and the Federal Ministry of Livestock are on the same page? Because they are obviously saying different things.
Well, let me draw your attention to something. You did not play the area where His Excellency specifically requested for the preservation and conservation of the Motoro breed of cattle. But let me put it to you that the Honorable Minister made a blanket statement. I am putting it to you that there is no single gazetted cattle, no single gazetted grazing route in Benue. There's no record anywhere. If you have any record to show that there is a gazetted grazing route or grazing reserve in Benue, you bring it forward. As far as I'm concerned, the statement made by the Honorable Minister is just a general statement where grazing routes exist. None exist in Benue.
Okay, over to you, Mr. Pillar. From a public perspective, what do you think, are some of these, because the DG has just explained that people raised concerns that do not exist.
Yes.
Okay. So what do you think? Why do you think people are beginning to raise such concerns?
Thank you. Before I start, let me apologize to my listeners because I've had a cough and it has affected my voice. However, I will try to manage it as far as the program can take us. Father, you see, Dr. Ansam is a very intelligent person. He's one of the best brains we have in the state. I've known him for some time as being an eloquent and intelligent fellow. And so when he begins to stammer with words, you know that something is wrong. Because ordinarily, Ansam is a very intelligent person. He's one of the best brains we have around here. So when you find him stammering, know that something is wrong. Having said that, let me travel back a little. And just before I do that, I want to say something before I forget. That Dr. Ansami's response to the concerns raised by Benue people is insensitive. To say that people are just raising concerns where there shouldn't be is an insensitive statement. I'm sorry to use that word, but that's what it is. Because we have been following this issue for quite a long time. Remember that in Benue, the Open Grazing Prohibition Ranches Establishment Law was signed on the 22nd day of May 2017. And only 8 days after, that was on a Wednesday, 30th May 2017, the Miete Ala Kautahore issued a statement condemning they condemned the law in totality. They said they were going to mobilize. That statement was published in the Nation's newspaper of 31st May 2017. The press statement was made on the 30th by Mieti Ala Kautahore. Their leaders then were, I don't know whether they have changed. You had Alhaji Bodejo and Engineer Sule Al-Hassan. They were the ones who made the statement. And you had also Funam. Funam is a Fulani, I've forgotten, but that's, I think I'll get to this as the program proceeds. But you have a statement also made by Funam within the same period of May 2017 when the law was promulgated. These people said emphatically, categorically, that they were going to mobilize all Fulanis across the world to come to Benue and take over this land because the land belongs to them. Their statements are all over on the internet. You can go there and see it. It's not a hidden thing. They have been very clear on this issue. Alhaji Sule Hassan in that statement also talked about the grazing routes of 1960. They said they were coming to take the grazing routes of 1960 and nothing should change. Finally, I want to tell you something. By 1960, when they were talking about grazing routes, I agree with Ansami that we don't have any gazetted grazing route in Benue. But when those grazing routes were being talked about, Nigeria had a population of less than 100 million. We are talking about more than 200 million people in this country today. And so, when you are talking about grazing routes in 21st century, in 2025, something is wrong. From 1960 to date, we shouldn't be talking about grazing roads. I'm sorry, permit me, because this is a very serious issue. Permit me to lay these foundations before I come to what you are saying. I have to say it for the listener, for those who don't know, who may not have followed this from the beginning. The attacks on Benue communities started even during Susuam's administration. It didn't start during Otom's administration. It started during Susuam's administration. It was in a bid to find a solution that Benue people brought out that idea of prohibiting open grazing. And then the law now made provisions for establishment of ranches. When you have the state government speaking from both sides of their mouth, because the first statement that was issued from the office of the chief press secretary to the governor was different from what Dr. Ansame responded. I have tried to get the initial statement, but I think the CPS edited his statement, I don't know. But he came out on that same day to clear certain things. He made a statement on that day. Were it not for the statement made by the chief press secretary to the governor, he wouldn't have issued his own statement. It means they are speaking from either side.
Mr. Pillar, but
Yes, sir.
you listen to the governor.
Yes.
He was also, he has not thrown away the anti-open grazing and ranching establishment law.
Yes.
He made that request.
Yes,
as you listen.
yes, I am coming to that. Coming to that. When the Land Use Act was promulgated in 1978, all land in the territory of states were vested in the state governors. The governors could allocate, they are going to administer this land for the interest of Nigerians. Governors also have the right to acquire land for overriding public interest. Overriding public interest. If it is anything that is an overriding under overriding public interest, the governor can acquire any land. I am wondering, he's talking about ranches that state-owned facilities. Yes, it is very good to revive them. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you invite, he is saying they were the ones who sent an invite to the minister, the Honorable Minister of Livestock. When the state government is talking about reviving their own ranches, the minister is talking about grazing routes. That they will, and at some point I heard him very well. He said they will convert the routes to ranches for the pastoralists. Who are the pastoralists here? It is something we have not heard. So if he is saying that they made a request to the federal government, I think what the federal government is giving Benue is a great gift. I think it is highly insensitive.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Peter, Mr. Daniel, rather. Okay, Dr. Ansame.
Yes.
You itching to respond to?
Yeah, you see, what is happening here is a clear case of giving a dog a bad name in order to hang it. What you played out there, this speech of the Honorable Minister, was at the venue of the summit.
Okay.
Played his speech at RAV, where we went to visit that facility. Do you have that with you?
Okay.
We went there. We went there with journalists who covered it. I challenged them that they should play that speech, that the minister, what the minister said at RAV there. And then, aside that, even if the minister had made a statement that they are going to secure grazing routes and grazing reserves, I am telling you that there is no single gazetted grazing route and grazing reserve in Benue. No, not a single one. So where are they going to get the grazing routes and the grazing reserve in Benue to develop for pastoralists? I'm putting it to Pillar. If he has any evidence anywhere that there is a single grazing route or grazing reserve in Benue, let that person bring it forward for us to see.
All right. So, but why do you think the public is so, tensed that even what was not said, they are beginning to point accusing fingers that you are inviting in people to come take their land for.
You see, let me say this. We have faced a lot of challenges, invasion, encroachment that is occasioned by the activities of these Fulani herders. They have caused a lot of problem to the state. At a point, our people became apprehensive. So anything that is being said that has to do with cattle, that involves a Fulani man, it raised concern with our people. That is understood. But the fact here is that we have a law in place, which is the Open Grazing Prohibition and Establishment of Ranches Law. That law means we will have to establish the ranches. In that law, the law was not created during this administration. It was created in the previous administration. There's a provision in that law that the state government will establish pilot ranches. Our people say they don't like Fulanis. But there is a situation in Benue here where our people save money for 12 months in the name of BAM to take the whole money to buy cattle from the Fulanis and empower them. So let me put this question forward. Between saving money for a whole year to take the same money I give to the Fulanis, that we see them as our enemies, that raising our own cattle to patronize ourselves as the tea people.
DG, I think...
which one do we prefer?
I think we should get the word right. We are talking about headers. So
Okay.
by the time we are making it look like the Fulani,
But that is the message that is out there on the social media. They have been profiling Fulanis. So I want to quote the exact thing that I'm seeing on the social media that is being circulated. Our people here, you cannot deny this fact. Our people contribute money in BAMs. At the end of the year, you have a single BAM slaughtering 40, 50 cattle. They go to procure these cattle with the Fulanis, the same herders that they are saying they don't want that business. So what do we want as a people? Do we want the implementation of the law? If we want the implementation of the Open Grazing Prohibition and Establishment of Ranches Law, there is an aspect of it which is an alternative to open grazing, is ranching. The state, as a major player in this industry, will have to champion the establishment of ranches to demonstrate to the people that this is how a ranch looks like. There are people, I bet you, there are people out there that don't know how a ranch look like.
Okay,
people need to learn. The state government is supposed to dictate the pace on how this business should be conducted in this state. The governor, in his opening speech at the summit, did not stop at that. He beckoned on the honorable minister to champion a national legislation on the establishment, on open grazing prohibition and establishment of ranches. What that means is this: Benue is operating open grazing prohibition and establishment of ranches almost in isolation. There are a few states. By the time you make this a national legislation, the federal government will have no choice than to key into this program and enforce the prohibition and establishment of ranches, so that together Nigeria will experience peace, Nigeria will experience stability, and these skirmishes or these challenges, this invasion, this encroachment that we are having from herders, we will not experience them. So the governor is at the forefront of implementing this law. He is not just there to implement the law in the state. He is calling on the federal government to also key into what Benue State brought forward. So I don't see any reason why the people should be bashing the governor, this government, on the social media.
Okay,
when we are out there with a genuine program forward for our people to key in and then reap the benefits.
Okay, you've made your point. You're out there with a genuine program and policy.
Yes.
But Dr. Ansambe, don't we have a local people, into livestock production that would maybe empower them to set them into these ranches? Must we invite outsiders?
Okay, let me say this. The Federal Ministry of Livestock Development is a new creation. It follows the recommendations of the Presidential Livestock Reform Implementation Committee. The President of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, created this ministry in July last year, following that recommendation. The ministry is being funded by by taxpayers' money. We are part of the entity called Nigeria. We are paying taxes. It is our right to be part of whatever that is budgeted for the Federal Ministry of Livestock Development. Even if we shy away that a Fulani man is the Minister of Livestock Development and we will not partake of what is coming from the Federal Ministry, if we shy away from that, the ministry will still be funded. So it is better we make use of the funds that are made available at the ministry to revive our own livestock investment. The state has a lot of livestock investments 1980s. So it is a good thing that we should approach the federal government to also tap into the monies that have been budgeted for livestock development, so that we will have what is of our own and we will be proud of it. I don't see any problem with that.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Pillar, part of the issues is that, programs had come up, programs such as RUGA, National Livestock Transformation Plan, that also birthed the Benue Livestock Transformation Plan and other similar projects in the past that met outright rejection by the citizens of the state. Looking at it from an analyst perspective, do you see the current steps different from what we are, the programs that were rejected?
They are one and the same thing.
Why do you think so?
What program do we have now?
The thing is that, you see...
he asked a question.
Is there any program now that the federal government is offering to us? Mention that program.
Sorry, sir. Allow me answer the question. I'll come to that anyway.
Okay.
But they are one and the same thing. Let me tell you something. These guys have a game. It is a game. Permit me to... I will come to your question. But that statement that was issued, I have some excerpts from the statement that was made by Mieti Alakaotahore. It is what they have been following up over time. I am quoting from, quote, we know our history. And this is a statement made by Mieti Alakaotahore. I will read maybe a few paragraphs, just 2 or 3 paragraphs only, then I'll come back to you. They say, we know our history. We know our roots. If you see us in the bushes, don't think we don't have our history, and particularly in the state. We are challenging the Tiv people. We were there in the Benue Valley before them, before they moved from Congo and settled in Cross River and later moved to the Benue Valley. So they met the pastoralists there. This statement has continued. It says, the Nigerian state must recognize that the Fulani pastoralists exists, and as a socio-cultural group that has a right to shared resources, we must be allocated land to do our cattle grazing, which systematically we can settle our families, challenge the breed of cattle they need, and improve on the technology of cattle rearing. They also say...
I think you have established it, so go ahead. Let's talk about it.
What is happening in Benue is struggle for resources. It is occupation.
By who?
It is a land grabbing.
By who?
What these people are doing is that they want to come into the state and they want a legal standing to stand. What it is disturbing that the current state government is speaking for the pastoralists. I think that we elected a government to protect us. We elected a government to stand for the people.
Can you quote that statement where the government...
You've just defended the pastoralists on this program. You even insulted the Tiv people by saying that we gather money a whole year to go and empower the Fulanis.
Is that a lie? Is that a lie?
This kind of statements coming from the man who is the DG of livestock and a very top appointee.
We are encouraging our people to do livestock. We must consume protein. We consume protein.
Mr. Pillar,
so we cannot shy away from this fact. It's a fact. You sitting here, you consume protein, meat protein. So if you are not producing this meat, where will you get the meat? You have shied away from this over the years, but you have never shied away from contributing money for 12 years to go and buy cattle with these same headers.
Okay, DJ sir, let him land so they will pick up from there.
By the way, I don't eat beef.
Okay.
That's for me. I don't eat beef.
Is it because of the issues or?
Certainly, they are connected.
Okay.
For a very long time, I've not eaten beef. I mean beef.
Okay, but go ahead and make your point.
And so, whether they come as Ruga, whether they come as whatever they are trying to say, because you've heard the minister explicitly.
For now, they have not come. For now, they have not come.
Yes.
We wrote a memo to the federal government requesting for funds to revive our livestock facilities. We have them. Aperaku established Kogan Cattle Ranch as far back as 1980-82. Yes. We have these facilities. We have ADC here. We have cattle market. These are not federal government facilities. There are about 14 of them in number. So we are requesting for funds to revive these livestock facilities. They are state-owned livestock facilities. Okay. So there's nothing here. The federal government has not extended anything to Benue. So for now, let us be guided by what is happening and not bring anything extra to impugn into what we are discussing. We are discussing what brought the minister to Benue. It is by our own invitation that he came to Benue. He did not come to Benue on his own to sell any program to the people of Benue. We requested for that.
That's clear
My brother, please,
Okay,
let us clear something. You are the anchor. Please, I will want you to protect me. Let me answer my question because I should also be given time.
My brother is
interjecting.
My brother, you are protected.
So he should allow me make my point.
I will exercise.
He is talking about writing a memo to the federal.
I will exercise restraint for you to respond.
Fine. Section. The governor reiterated his commitment to the implementation of the open grazing prohibition and ranches establishment law. Section 34 of that law says, the department shall not accept any aid, grant or assistance if the conditions attached by the person or organization giving the aid, grant or assistance are inconsistent or will compromise the department in the discharge of its functions under this law. What department are we talking about? The Department of Livestock under the Ministry of Agriculture and Natural Resources in Benue. Here is now the DG, because I don't understand the workings of the current government. As a DG, it is by whatever they what he has just said.
Yeah.
They say they open schools, they open clinics, they open everything for them. Take a journey to Kaduna and check what has happened to all the areas, all the lands that were state government usurped to give to these people. Cattle ranching is cattle rearing is a private business. Mind you, I don't see any reason why a government will have so much interest in protecting a cattle rearer when he is doing a private business. We have a lot of businesses here. Have we been protected? How many hectares of land have been allocated in any of the far northern states for piggery farming or other livestock? You cannot find that. You can establish ranch in your own state. Sorry,
he mentioned revamping of piggery resources.
It's in Benue. That's in Benue. Wait,
okay.
I'm trying to arrive at something.
Okay.
These people have their own states, and I can tell you for free that most of them are not even Nigerians. Meet any of them and start speaking Hausa, they don't know how to speak Hausa. Their language is Fulfulde, and because the borders are porous, they come into Nigeria anytime. But they just said that the African Charter on I'm trying to locate this. he said that the Economic Community of West African States ECOWAS Protocol even allows the Fulani community free movement into and across the country. That is where they are coming. They come into Nigeria very freely. They come from all parts of Africa to come and cause problems. They say in that statement, Mieti Allah said they were going to mobilize the entire Fulanis across Africa, and that is what they are doing. These things are quoted. You can visit the nation of 31st May.
Okay. I think you've made your point.
Please, wait. He interjected me. I took a lot of my time. Please allow me to come.
Okay.
Now, when we are talking about pastoralists, the state government is saying one thing. The federal government is telling us another thing. The federal ministry of livestock is telling us another thing. Benue people have a reason to raise concerns. Whatever is a gift that is coming from the federal government, once or as far as it is tagged pastoralist, I don't know whatever color they want to bring it. It is one and the same thing, and we shouldn't accept it. Cattle rearing is a private business. The state government, even in the law says anybody who wants to establish a ranch should approach the government. The government has a right. If it is for overriding public interest, I want you to underline that phrase, that clause. That's the condition. And so, please, we cannot continue to hide and protect the herders. They are killing us. Sorry, before I stop, he talked to be referred arrested for violating the law. Please, he should make a reference to only one instance, because as we speak, I come from Ukum local government and my place is completely taken over by this last night. They attacked my village and killed a lot of people. I have not even ascertained the number of casualties.
Okay.
And so when you're talking about implementing open grazing prohibition, I want to know, where is it being implemented?
Your
is
point,
it in this state
your
or
point
another?
is noted. Your point is noted. DG,
Yes.
let's move as you also respond.
You want me to respond to his question?
Interviewing you at RAV Because unfortunately I can't play that clip right now. But when they were interviewing you, you said, revamping some of these obsolete infrastructure, livestock infrastructure, is part of the efforts to address the lingering attacks on farmers. So we want to know particularly in what ways, given the ongoing tensions between farmers and herders in Benue State, how do you plan to ensure the safety and security of maybe those around these ranches or the communities that are affected by these tensions generally?
Okay, thank you very much. You see, you cannot prohibit open defecation without providing toilets. Just link that to this law that we are discussing here.
Okay.
The state government was the one that promulgated the law on open grazing prohibition and establishment of ranches. In that law, which was made by the previous administration, that the current administration is here to implement, it is stated in that law that the government will provide pilot ranches. These pilot ranches are for people to see that the government has taken a lead and is serious about open grazing prohibition. It is as simple as that. So by reviving this, our people can learn that this is the new trend in livestock business in Benue. And we will implore them to take a cue from what the government is championing, so that on their own part, they can also build their own ranches. It pleases them. We have even T people that are into cattle business. They don't have any ranch anywhere. I think the only ranch I can reference in Benue here is the one owned by Anzenge in Ushongo local government. We have people, T people, that they have cattle here roaming about. So when we are talking about implementation of the open grazing prohibition law without ranches, what is the way forward? Where do we go? You cannot ban open defecation without providing toilets. So the federal state government is out to champion that and provide ranches and tell our people, go and have a look at how a ranch look like, replicate it for your own business, and let the cattle stop causing problems all over the state.
All right, thank you. May I repeat again that the views and opinions expressed by guests and callers on Agate Radio Makurdi are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the editorial policy or views of this station. So we need this to be established. All right. I also, part of the discussion, was about setting aside a plantation of some greens. Greens. So pasture. That pasture, so that we
further cultivation.
Yes, for that, and so that we do our haze well.
Good.
Yes. So, and people raised concern.
You want me to respond to that?
People raised concern. They said that already we have a lot of green areas. And by the way, how much does this livestock contribute to our GDP? That we are so. Okay, let's put it side by side with crop farming.
It's far more than crop.
Okay.
Far more than crop. I tell you that crop in Benue here, side by side with crop business. Animal business has no season. Whether dry season, whether rainy season, you still have it. But here in Benue, you can't.
Okay. So, but we have grasses all over. So why do we need to plant?
You see, we have different grasses with high nutritional value. As I speak to you, there are foreign countries that are making demands on Nigeria for export of this grass to them. It's a huge business that we want our people to even key into. This livestock sector is not something that our people will shy away and say it's a Fulani or is linked to a particular ethnic group. No. We have to go into it. We are urging our people to go into it. We will provide incentives. Do you get me?
Yes.
So as a matter of emphasis, I am urging our people to embrace livestock development and then key into the programs that are coming up, so that they will tap from the taxpayers' money and bring improved breeds of pigs to stock that place at Yande. It's a follow-up from the federal government request. Okay. I'm putting it to you. I'm traveling to Denmark on the 7th of April, specifically to get improved breeds of pigs.
Okay.
We have 3 here. We have the Duroc, we have the Landrace, We have the large white. I'm going to Denmark to bring more. So our people should key into this. This is a laudable program that our people should be clapping for the state governor, trying to revive the livestock facilities with an ingenious approach.
Okay, Dr. Hasambe, your point is quite clear. So you'll be traveling to get some pigs. So
yes.
Why not get cattle for the ranch down there? Why not?
The facility in Yandef is already there.
Okay.
But the one at RAF is dilapidated. It needs to be. It needs an overhaul, a complete overhaul of the place. If you go there, if you look at the videos that are circulating, you see that there's nothing there to show that livestock business is conducted in that place, and it's supposed to be a decent place.
All right, over to you, Mr. Pillar. So much, the truth, we must say, so much potentials in the livestock industry, but why do we not see possibilities in it or positivity in it?
You know, it's when you say that you cannot compare crop production to livestock in Nigeria, I begin to wonder: are we really? Is he really aware of what's happening?
Economic value.
Now, you see that the attacks on Benue farmers has brought a considerable hike in food crops. How many times do we eat beef to sustain ourselves for the day?
That is a different angle.
Please.
That is a different angle to it.
Sorry, sir. Let's allow him
very
to.
silent throughout your speech.
I will give you the opportunity to respond when it's done.
All right.
Thank you. You see, the issue is that nobody eats beef for sustenance. Do you get? But we eat crops every day to sustain our lives. If Dr. Ansam is sitting here, he is asked to eat only meat for 1 month, not plenty. I mean, longer than just 30 days. Give him 30 days. Don't eat yam. Don't eat lamb. Don't eat any other thing. Eat only beef within 30 days. Can he survive? What would be his health condition after taking beef for 30 days? So that's number one. Number two, the cattle we have in Nigeria is not exported to any country except those low-income countries, because for each time you want to export a beef, it fails the taste. You are traveling with a particular animal from either Sokoto down to Owerri, down to Makudi, down to any other place in the country. Sometimes you are moving like 800 kilometers, sometimes 1,000 kilometers. Do you think that cattle is worth consuming? It is not. And so I agree to ranches, but you see, what is happening in the state today is different. Dr. Ansam said you cannot compare crop business to livestock, and I am wondering.
Economically.
I am wondering because the statistics are there. It's quite unfortunate I can't access it now, but I think maybe before the program runs out, I'll bring out the statistics for you. That Nigeria is not even one of the fifth country that produces the largest cattle in the world. You have India, you have Brazil, you have United States of America, you have China, and the rest of these countries. Their beef is being exported all over the world. Ours is not exported to anywhere. All the cattle you see being transported are for private consumptions within the country. And so our crops are the ones sustaining the entire country. Benue is the food basket of the nation. And that name did not just come. Only recently, the governor of Niger boasted that the basket in Makudi is empty. That it is their own state that is the food basket of the nation today. Sometimes we cannot even dispute him because our people have been displaced. We are no longer going to our farms. Our ancestral lands have been taken away. And so what the state government should be thinking of, I am not against establishment of ranches, but what the state government should be thinking of should be giving priority to crop production and not animals. Animals, very good. We can rear animals. It's fantastic. But at the moment, our existential this thing is being threatened. Our very existence is being threatened. And so I think that the state government should focus its own arsenals on that particular aspect and not put so much energy in animal production. One last thing. if you're talking about dry season farming, I agree with Ansam that we don't do it here. If you go to the far north, now the tomatoes we're eating, the pepper we're eating here is coming from them. If they are so vast, if they are so technologically advanced in irrigation farming, they should plant pasture in their own state and rear cattle there. Since they can do dry season farming, pasture will also develop in their own state, even under dry season. Our pasture cannot develop here during dry season because we are not doing irrigation farming. And so, because they already have irrigation farming in their own states, in the far northern states, where these guys come from, please let the ranches be established in the far north. Let the pasture be developed there. They have the technology, they have everything. We're eating their corn, we're eating their tomato, even in this dry season. That means that pasture can also grow there better during dry season. Let the ranches be established in their own states. Please, the government of the day should stop defending the headers. Should the headers, please.
Okay, Dr. Hansambe, the point is quite clear. From what he said, and then some of the comments I read on social media and interactions I had with people, it's not as if we don't want to also venture into animal production or all that. But our fear is that let us do our farm by ourselves.
I think what our people should be most concerned about is the occupant of the ranches and not the construction of ranches. We should be cautious. If we're building ranches, that's very good. So our concern should be, who should occupy these ranches? Is it these same people that are terrorizing us that we'll give the ranches to? But if we say we want open grazing prohibition and we don't want ranches, it means we're not ready for a solution.
As a matter of fact, part of the law says ranches establishment law.
So Pillar
with you.
is going off tangent. Yes, it's completely off. It's off this discussion. I am saying the law provides for open grazing prohibition. We agree. The law also provides for establishment of ranches. And it is the state that will champion that. When we champion that, these are our ranches. We will dictate the terms under which those ranches will be operated under our jurisdiction in the state. Simple as that. Nobody can impose regulations on us on how we will operate our ranches. We will build ranches and then bring out regulations in consultation with our people on how these ranches should be operated. If a chief man is interested in cattle business, we'll lease this ranch to you. Come and put your animals there, be paying us revenue. It's as simple as that. Let the apprehension of a mere mention of ranch or cattle will trigger the issue of Fulani. Cattle business or livestock business, because this livestock business is not just restricted to cattle. Livestock business is not an exclusive preserve of the Fulanese. Our people can do livestock business. They can do crop farming. We have dominated crop farming since time immemorial. This is the time for us to combine crop farming and livestock farming. There is no cause for alarm. The state government has not compromised the security of the state for anybody to take over our land. We have not ceded a single inch of Benue land to anybody. So our people should be rest assured that the government of His Excellency, Governor Hais Entalia, is here to do the right thing, and we are on course in doing that right thing.
So, Dr. Hansambe, if I quote you, it's a question of let us have it first.
Yes, let us have it first. By the time we have it, those that are saying, you see, when you don't have a ranch and you're saying you are enforcing open grazing prohibition, those people think that they are the target. But the animals go out to graze. They still have thief people who are into this business. They meet there with their animals.
But then there are people who think this is a smart move.
Smart move by who? It's the state government that is building it. Where there was a ranch, we will resuscitate it. Where was a poultry farm, we will resuscitate it. Where there was a feed mill, we will resuscitate it. This is the stage we are on. We have not discussed outside the basic infrastructure that the state government owns. We have not touched any other thing outside this. This is where our conversation is centered for now.
Okay, he raised an issue. I wanted to ask you that question. Somehow I was just doubting because you are for livestock.
Yes.
But I think other forms of agriculture, which is crops farming. You made mention of irrigation farming.
Yes.
Don't you think the state should also focus solely on these areas?
As we speak, there's a program in Benue now that is called Benue Agricultural Revolution Program.
Okay.
The program is anchored by His Excellency himself. The program in some species, given inputs to plant. By the time they harvest, the state government is ready as an off-taker to buy off whatever they harvest from there. But the state government will give the seedlings, we give the herbicides, we provide the fertilizer for these people to farm, harvest, give the state government the right of first refusal. You can only sell to any other person when the state government says, no, we cannot buy. And the state government is even ready to buy at the prevailing market prices, not to impose any price on them. So this government is pragmatic about agriculture. The governor of Benue State thinks agriculture. He sleeps agriculture. So this is a business that we cannot shy away from it. We are an agricultural state, and we must embrace it to take our youth, unemployed youth, off the street and get them a place where they can engage themselves on a daily basis and earn a living.
All right, thank you very much. And I just I'm being reminded that you should deviate from saying thief, so let it not be an ethnic
ethnic profiling.
Yeah, because we have our Idoma brethren also into livestock production. We have Igede.
Yes, livestock business.
As a matter of fact, I have a lecturer of Igede descent that is a
livestock business is for all. On Monday, I was on Benue television, and I urged the people of Benue, irrespective of the tribe, to engage in livestock production. Even if you can raise just 5 chicken, do it. Even if you can raise just 5 goats, do it and be consistent with it. Ranch them. Because we want to show the world that in Benue, when you come, we have a law in place, which is the open grazing prohibition and establishment of ranches. When you say ranching, it's not only cattle that are ranched. Pigs are ranched. Sheep and goat are ranched. In fact, as far back as which time, the state government had a goat and sheep ranch.
Okay, sorry,
in Vandikia.
Sorry, doctor, I have to cut you now. We'll
right.
continue after. We'll just take a short break, and then when we're back, we'll start taking calls. Let's hear the views of the listener.
All right.
You're welcome back from that short break. This is Perspectives on Hargate Radio 95.5 Star FM Makurdi. The topic we're discussing is Federal Ministry of Livestock Development's proposal for land clearing in Benue State. All right, and the guest in the studio is Dr. Aondaka Asambe, Director General Bureau of Livestock Development and Transboundary Animal Diseases Control. We also have with us public affairs commentator Daniel Pila. All right, it's now time for you to join the conversation. The number to call is 0814-335-9292. 0814-335-9292. You can also send us a text message on 091-2699-9404. That is 08912-699-9404 for WhatsApp and text messages only, so that you could also be part of the conversation. And I want to reiterate once more that the views and opinions expressed by guests and callers on Hargate Radio Makurdi are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the editorial policy or views of this station. So whosoever says what he or she is saying is their own opinion and not us. So we begin the course immediately. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Emeka Anyok from North Bank.
All right, thank you, Emeka.
Yes, livestock production is very good here in this state. And I do believe if the Benue state government will agree to do the needful by making sure that anti-grazing law stands, and at the same time make people to ranch their cattle, sheep, and every other thing that they can ranch, they do it. That will make us to have everything that we want. And for our brothers from the other side, we are of the opinion that everybody doing ranches. If the federal government are doing ranches, it should be for the whole 36 states. It should be for the 36 states, not for only Benue. It should be for every state. They should ranch. And our brother from the other side who likes coming to Benue, they should remain in their states if they are originally from Nigeria. So I have the opinion that every state should have its own ranch and maintain the ranches so that our children who have not gone to that, we do the ranching and do some certain things. And we have a good beef. Like in America today, you see better beefs, not like the ones that we are having. They will bring from other places to our side here and sell it at an exorbitant price. We should produce our own here in this state. So I am of the, as the state government has said, we are going back to all this Ekoge and other places, like the one at Yandev and other places. I think it is the most important thing. And I am of the opinion if the federal government will do, if the federal government will do the same thing that they are talking at Iraq, if they are doing it, let it be Benue people alone. Not
Okay.
other people coming from other
Emeka,
states.
thank
So
you
come
very
and
much.
say
You've
that.
made your point. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much.
And have a great day.
I get radio and Nigerian people as to continue listening.
Thank you very much. All right, what is said that I so much like is that it shouldn't be just about cattle. People with fowls too should ranch them. People with goats should ranch them, and I think that is very important.
I see. Just before we went on break, I emphasized
Sorry,
here that
sorry,
ranching
sorry,
is
hold
not
on a
just
bit.
about cattle.
So hold on a bit. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, my name is Mike. I'm calling from Wadata here in Makurdi.
Okay, Mike, who?
Mike Oguche.
Okay.
Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. Thanks, DG. Thanks for great work out there. But let me just lend my voice. The first thing I want to say, aligning what DG said, is this is a clarion call that all Benue, let me take a subset of the most controversial, them are owned by Benue, sounding as if it is this business. Benue was just the development will be setting up ranches everywhere. And if every individual, every Nigeria across the 36 states and Abuja embrace ranching, then it is no longer going to be an exclusive preserve of a particular ethnic group that we've had problems with generations. And they will also be now forced to also embrace the ranching of their cattle. And when we do ranching here, like my last brother also said, the breed that we will bring here are not the breed that are less in meat, that are less they're the ones that the beef, the cheese, the milk that you process from them, from integrated livestock development that we'll be doing, that is aligned to the modern ranching and beef and livestock development will solve the problem once and for all. So I'm all for that, and thank you very much for bringing it up.
Mike, you sound as if you work with the ministry.
I don't work with the ministry. I work with an investment arm of the state where
Mike works with BENIPA,
Okay.
Benue Investment Promotion Agency.
Okay, because he said he told us decisively that ranches are going to be established all around. So I was wondering.
The issue here is this: even individuals who are interested in livestock business, the coming on board of the Federal Ministry of Livestock Development, if you indicate interest at the ministry that you have a land where you want to develop your own personal ranch, you will be supported to do that. That is why the state took advantage of that and applied to the Federal Ministry of Livestock Development. Come, help us revive these livestock facilities that we had. They are about 15 in number. We are requesting for that. We are requesting that even our...
Mike, Mike, thank you very much. You've made your point. You can hang on and then listen to us. Thank you.
All right, thank you then.
Okay.
So even the slaughterhouses, you visit the abattoirs, they are in very bad shape. We are working out modalities to doing that. A few weeks ago, we signed an MOU with Abyss, who are into abattoir construction. So it's a whole gamut of activity that will be going on in this livestock bureau.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
My name is Joe Gundo. I'm calling from Yagyo.
All right, Joe Gundu from Giakyo. Go ahead with your contribution.
My contribution is that if Benue State government is having plans of rearing its own cattle, I think it's a welcome development. But let them implement the policy, not just policy formulation, because we are very good in formulating policies while we fail totally in terms of implementing them. Apart from that, anybody who can talk against the Fulani people that rear cattle in the bush and in Benue State in particular, I think that person is right, because they've been talking very bad about Benue people in terms of even invading this state and conquering them, because they claim that the indigenous of this country. So if somebody is saying that we put money in the bank all over the state, and at the end of the day we take this money to go and buy cattle with them and empower them for them to use buy against us, I think that person is very right. And that person is having his own sense. That person has never gone astray. So that's my little contribution for now.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joe Gundu, for your contribution.
Thank you. Thank you.
You can also be a part of the program if you dial 0814-335-9292. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Doris. I'm calling from Benue.
Okay, Doris, please could you say your surname?
Yeah, it's Doris, your chief.
Doris
Yochi.
Yochi.
Yes, please. I like to contribute my own view about what you're discussing, about the topic you're discussing on. I guess it's ranking, right? The need for ranking. Or
You can make contribution on anything about livestock you have to say.
yeah, okay. So I think the sincerity in this whole project is what the concern, or where the concern lies. My opinion is that to do livestock business safely for everyone and even for the animals, the answer is that these animals must be ranched. And if people are doing it as a private business, then I believe the only is on them to create their own ranches, just like people do any other business. However, the government can choose to promote any cause, just like even for religious reasons, government sponsors people to go on pilgrimages and all of those. The government can start to spend money on ranches and use that to promote this business and promote that part of farming. However, the sincerity in this project is my concern. The animals are all over. I tried this route of my body to one in the Boko, almost on a daily basis. An anti-open grazing law in the state are animals all over. And it's worrisome to see the herd in their 100. It's a daily basis. So the sincerity concerns us.
Okay, Doris, your line is breaking, but I think you've made your point. Thank you very much for being part of the program. All right, Doris is concerned about the sincerity of the programs. And okay,
I want to say a few things, maybe before the next caller. Dr. Ansami made reference to the law talking about government should make
pilot ranches.
I have a copy of that law, which is only 36 sections. I have gone through and I cannot find any section that's provided for government to make pilot ranches.
I even have.
It may be here. I don't know.
I even have. I even have a copy of the ESCO approval.
Okay.
For establishment of pilot ranches. It doesn't even stop only at that law. Yeah. The previous administration, ESCO sat, deliberated, and approved, allocated money for establishment of pilot ranches. Yes. So this is not an issue to debate about.
Sir, please, you will do me a favor by allowing me to learn.
Okay, let it make his point.
Now, I want him to help me. That is after this. To help me, if I can get the precise section that talks about government establishing pilot ranches, I will be grateful. If you look at section 17 of that law, to the Ministry of Livestock, The ministry is talking about building schools, building hospitals, building all the structures, whereas Section 17 of this law is prohibiting, permit me to okay, Section 17 is here, and if you can permit me, Section 17 thereof says, temporary structures and other improvements for the management of permitted livestock. Okay, temporarily, not permanent structures. So he's talking about maybe constructed within the ranches under permits issued or cooperative agreement approved by the department. However, no permit entitles the rancher to use improvements constructed and owned by a prior occupant until the applicant has the prior occupant the reasonable value of the improvements.
Yeah,
the issue here is about temporary and permanent structures. If you're talking about hospitals, you are talking about schools and all of that. These are permanent structures. They are not temporary structures. That's number one.
Okay.
Again, if you look at Section 6 sub 5 of that same law, it's talking about environmental impact assessment. Dr. Azabi told us that what are they know that people have already planted their crops. Some are permanent
Good morning.
economic trees.
Okay, sorry. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, moderator and the discussant on the road this morning.
Good morning. Good morning, my brother.
What's your name and location?
I'm Peter calling from behind the OCBN layout.
Okay, I only heard Peter.
Ogbeche.
Okay,
Peter.
okay.
It's unfortunate that our discussant this morning, they are not on the same page, and that is where we have our problem in Benue State. You see, my contribution is that we know where we are coming from, but since we don't know where we are going.
Okay.
The issue that brought about and open grazing and ranching establishment law is just because of the clashes between herders and farmers. So for the DG to tell us that not until all the ranches in Benue is revived before they implement the law, I think that is not a welcome development. Let them implement the law first, so that these people are encroaching our land and sending our farm.
Unfortunately, we lost connection with Mr. Peter, but he made a point that he fought the idea of, building ranches before implementing the law, which, by the way, the last administration started implementing by arresting some of the people grazing openly and all that. So he fought that.
Let me take it from where he has stopped. If you read the proviso on Section 5, it says, ranching permits shall be issued to citizens of Nigeria only who are authorized to conduct business under the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Preference shall, however, be given in issuance of the ranching permits to those within or near a district who are landowners interested in livestock business.
So has license been issued to anyone?
No. The state government has not issued permits to anyone. However, from the language, because you have not told us who is going to be the occupant. You are saying, let us establish the right first.
We are reviving our own facilities.
Sorry, sir. I don't think these interjections are correct. With all due respect, sir. Now, with number 2, you have not told us at what duration, because the law is talking about 1 year. Only one, it's a lease for 1 year. After 1 year, it's renewable. If they say you cannot, you pack your cattle and leave the ranch. That's the provisions. And so, you have not told us the occupants of those ranches. I earlier told you that most of the people you see grazing their cattle are not Nigerians. They come from all parts of Africa, from Mali, from Niger, from Sierra Leone, from Ghana, where they've been pushed out. And so they are coming in under the African ECOWAS protocol. With a cattle or any other, it has to be tabulated. It has to be examined. They just walk into our porous borders and come down and start causing trouble. So let Dr. Ansambe tell us, they have conducted environmental impact assessment. They have known who is going to occupy those ranches. What are the implications of building permanent structures as stated by the Honorable Minister of Livestock? You are just telling us, let us establish first. So whatever follows, we don't care.
All right, you've
That's
made your
wrong,
point.
completely
Okay,
wrong.
Dr. Ansambe, Dr. Ansambe, the lady that called from one also made some issues. So I'd like you to gather that, and we are depriving callers of their right, and it's not good. So many have been calling, so we need to attend to some of them. So, but then you have 3 issues to react to: the issue of environmental assessment, the occupants of those ranches, and of course, why is it that kettles are still roaming about even the main road? Why the law is still set to be enforced? So just those 3 issues, but let's attend to these callers because they've been calling, they've been waiting, and they also have a say. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Welcome. I am Takuru. Yes. I am grateful for the topic you people have brought today.
Thank you.
Enjoying? Yes. It's a sensitive topic. Then, I would like to put on like this. Security is the primary responsibility of the government. Our government has been promising for us to make our place safe. And now, the insecurity is combating together. Our followers has to combat it together. It's a balanced situation. But I would like to put the blame on the government. Our government has been failing us. They have to make sure everything is okay. Now, look at it safe. Human beings are not safe for this part of the country. So, if government can do something now, or it might escalate, it might be out of place. People are being...
All right, Takuruku Nyamazinga, your point is well noted. Thank you very much for your contribution. Government has always promised us that it's going to be fine, but it is not yet fine. So how much more? You're telling us ranches it will be fine. So how fine will it be? But the DG is going to respond to all of these issues. Let's take more calls. Once it is maybe quarter to this thing, will allow the insiders, the people in the studio, to respond to issues very well. But let's engage with the callers now. Hello.
Hello, good morning, Agate Radio.
Yes, good morning, sir. What's your name and location?
My name is Chief Eski.
Yes, very good morning to you.
I greet your guests in the studio, DG, my brother, and my other brother, Daniel. I'm just meeting him around, but it's okay.
Thank you, sir.
I want to make a contribution on the discussion on ranching and open grazing. When we started MAFO, and we preached against anti-open grazing and branches that are bringing in people from outside to come and ranch their cattle. Yes. Cattle is a multi-billion-dollar industry in Nigeria and West Africa. Everybody is free to do that, but we can't be doing that at the expense of our people. If the Fulani herders want to come in and do their business in Benue, they are free to come and acquire land on their own. That must be emphasized. That is what we emphasized before now. They must acquire land just like every other person doing business. For instance, the Igbo man who sells spare parts comes here, acquires a shop, puts in his spare parts, and sells. Government shouldn't be building ranches for everybody to come and take. That is not the original intention of the Akku administration when they open up ranches in Benue. It's not just in Rav, in Igumale there is one, in Kogen there is another, there are several others. Like the DG rightly pointed out, there are several of them, but the intention of the government at the time was also not to start these ranches and give them to people. No, that is not it. The intention of the government at the time was to create an enabling environment where our people could ranch their businesses. And the ranch in Rav and Kogen and Igumale, for instance, were also meant as a tourist attraction, not just for the purpose of breeding cattle. Now, taking that into consideration, we need to emphasize that anybody who gives us a grant or an opportunity to do business of ranching with a condition must be resisted, because we do not know where the condition will lead us to. And the DG must also take note of this. While the government's policy on agriculture is broad and fine, and we have no issues with that, we have particular issues when the federal government of all states in Nigeria chooses Benue State as a launching pad when terrorist Fulani headers are killing our people. We shouldn't accept that. Why do we have to accept the federal government taking the lands of people who have been killed, massacred, raped, and abused to grow further to be sold to the world?
SK, that is a misconception. I put it to you that is a misconception. The federal government has not taken over any land in Benue. If you have listened, if you have listened to my opening statement here, I said we wrote to federal government and requested for intervention to resuscitate these facilities. These are state-owned facilities. We want to resuscitate them, and we wrote and requested for funds to be. These funds are not coming from any ethnic group. These funds are sourced from taxpayers' money. Benue is a corporate state within the nation called Nigeria. It is our right to access the federal government money and solve our own problems within the state. So I don't see anything wrong with the Honorable Minister and the facility tour that we made. These facilities that we visited as state government facilities, we wrote and requested. The minister did not come on his own accord to extend something to us, an olive to us. No, that was not the issue, Mr. SK.
Hello?
Yeah, Mr. SK.
Yes, I understand your clarification, but at the same time, why do we choose this material time? Yes, the federal government can give grants to people.
The Federal Ministry of Livestock Development is barely 9 months old.
Let him land.
But they're also saying that, listen, DG,
yes,
the federal government is also saying that they will clear a certain percentage of hectareage for further business. Am I correct?
The animals are to be ranched. They are to be fed with the forage.
No.
Is he correct?
Yes.
It's not the federal government that is doing this.
Requesting for about 200 hectares.
It's not requesting. It's not requesting. Where it's our own facility. We're the ones that will do that. The minister asks us to clear the land so that they will give us the seedlings. Even individuals who are interested in this further production, the federal government has seedlings to give out. So if we are interested in resuscitating a ranch, the first step to take is to cultivate the forage, so that by the time these animals come, DJ, they will have something to eat.
DJ is fine. Let him land. We'll respond after he is done.
Okay.
You see, Miss DG, we have a very serious and contentious issue here.
Yes, I understand.
Without the forage that you are bringing, I don't know where you are bringing that forage from, but our own the natural forage alone is enough to feed our cattle in Benue and even beyond. I think what your bureau would have canvassed for is for people to step up their investment in the forage industry to be sold. We don't need to go and bring forage from anywhere to feed cattle. So why is the federal government requesting, or rather, why are you requesting that the federal government takes a particular portion of your land?
I didn't say federal government should take a particular portion. SK, don't quote me out of context.
All right.
That is a wrong statement. At no time did I say we have requested the federal government to take a portion of the land. That land belongs to Benue. Benue is desirous of resuscitating that ranch, and Benue must cultivate further so that the animals that are there will feast on it.
We must allow him to land so that we respond to him.
You see, there are so many questions that are lying there that I have not responded to.
I'm joking there.
I will not be happy if you allow the time to elapse without me giving clarification to those questions.
I will definitely give you time.
DG, let us take it gradually.
So, be quoting me correctly. I must emphasize that.
Natural forage in Benue. Am I correct?
Best animal husbandry practices does not warrant that. We have better forages for the animals.
So we have to import them?
Yes. Of course.
And Benue State government, if that is a priority
Okay, let's allow this man to round off his thoughts.
Should we stop? Should Benue stop collecting a federal allocation from the
Hello.
We don't have enough allocation to go around.
Okay.
So that is also very logical, but it's not factual. Let us look at the things that are logical and factual. It makes more sense when we are placing them side by side. If you look at the logical position of a particular aspect of governance, and you are not looking at the reality on ground, you are not being fair to the people that you are leading. And you are a top government official that should know, and you know. And you need to tell Benue people the exact thing that your government is doing.
We cannot solve this problem by blackmailing people.
In the best interest of the Benue people.
I am calling on you to stop blackmailing people.
We do not believe that what you are doing is the correct thing. And you need to convince us.
All right, Mr. Sam Kange, other callers are also waiting. Thank you very much. You've made your points. Thank you. The program is the Perspectives on Agate Radio 95.5 Star FM Makudi, and then we are looking at the Ministry of Livestock Development's proposal for land clearing in Benue State. And may I reiterate again that the views and opinions expressed by guests and callers on Agate Radio Makudi are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the editorial policy or views of this station. All right, so one or two more calls and then we'll give the DG the room to respond to a lot of issues that were raised. Hello?
Yes, hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
My regard to the guests in the studio. My name is Augustine Edo. I'm calling from Uruku, Makodi.
Good morning, Augustine.
Yes, Benue State belongs to us. And what I want us to look at is whatever policy we are formulating that we put the life of Benue people in danger in future, government should disembark from such policy. This government is trying, and people are on the side of the government, but nothing you can do without safeguarding the life of people first. Okay, look at now. Almost every local government of Benue State now have been conquered. Nobody can travel on his own. Use your jeep now to travel up to 50 kilometers from Makodi. You can't go alone except with the escort of police. Our people cannot go to the farm. My village in Adoka, Utupo local government, they can't have access to their farms. Farms are closer to the homes. But then what are we talking? Then we are talking about creating ranches for these people again. That means something is fishy and we need to be cleared. When people ask questions, they need to be clear. It's a matter of life. And life that doesn't have any substitute. So government should be clear. They should be open to us. If you are doing something to protect the citizens, let the policy be clear. These people, if you are petting them the way they are petting them, it will turn to something that we cannot control later. So government should look inward. Let not second to federal government allocation or whatsoever free money they are going to give. Let's protect the lives of our people. They are hopeless. They are helpless. They can't go to the farm. Now government need to take action. So thank you very much. So any action that government will do, any policy that will the life of many people.
You've made your point. You've made your point. Thank you. Thank you, Augustine Edo. Thank you, Augustine Edo. All right. Let me also look at the text messages. We have some text messages here. We're heading towards where the DG will respond. Hello.
Hello. Good morning, presenters in the house.
Yes. Good morning. What's your name and location?
This is Mary calling from International Market.
Mary?
Yes.
Mary who?
From International Market. Mary Kokwa.
Okay.
My first question is, there's something I heard when I was driving on the air. Is it because the Benue people gather money for BAM to buy cattle from the Fulanis that they are attacking us? That is my first question. Then secondly, most times when we point accusing fingers on others, we tend to bury the truth. I believe even if you are not from Benue, you hear a lot of things. Most times, all this Mbasombo and whatever, are they Fulanis attacking us? If we cannot be united, my dear, that is how many will come in and will conquer us. Let's face the truth, the reality, and then we see how we can act. And stop talking about BAM. Tell the Benue people not to buy cows today. The Fulanis will still have money. How many vehicles do you see loading cows to the east? Are east facing what we are facing today? So let's be realistic. We are fighting ourselves. So how can we be united to fight enemies? How? So let's team together to work as a family, as a state. Then we can see how we tackle the strangers coming in us. I remember when I was in Usman Danfodi, I fought a Fulani guy in 300 level. And they became afraid when they heard I'm a thief person. All of them became afraid. They say, hey, thief, I know people to fight to this boy. No, no, mistake. So why now we can't protect that? So please, let's look into that. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much, Mary. And then when the DG talked about gathering money, I think he was, I'm not speaking for him, but he was referring to a situation whereby we could also be of service to ourselves. When we contribute this money, we can go to a fellow person producing. I think that was what you meant.
Exactly.
All right, so let me read out the text messages before he responds to the lot of issues on the line. Okay, Ibudute Nege from BSUTH, that's Benue State University Teaching Hospital. He says, moderator, you allow an individual took all our time amidst the network jam. Okay, DG sir, is the weather condition of Benue and Denmark same, or you are just bringing foreign breed of animals for foreign trip sake? We are completely against ranching.
The Duroc, the landrace, and the large white that we have here was brought in from Iowa in US by the former governor of Benue State. Is the weather the same?
Okay.
I put it to that man.
All right. Let me read more messages. Good morning, Agate Radio. The program is a welcome development to the basis that it will address the growing controversy between the farmers and the herders. However, the dominance of these herders are the Fulanese, who naturally are not the indigenes of Nigeria. The build of these ranches may still fail if the federal government, who has the command over the armed forces, refuses to center the law. The governor is committed for his people, but then he should be sensitive on certain issues. For me, I will not accept it if the law is not centered. E.T. Abraham from North Bank, Makudi. All right, Benue subject has a law that is against open grazing. Nevertheless, Benue is Nigeria. If we could ranch as human to curtail something bad. Okay, good morning, the panel. Thanks to Father Kwano, Motsua Isaac Guma. All right, thank you very much. Okay, in as much as livestock agriculture is welcome, the issue of cattle ranching in Benue State is a very contentious one, considering the death and destruction unleashed on people by pastoralists in the recent past. I have listened very attentively to the DG's submissions, and I am afraid there are many inconsistencies. In view of the prevailing security situation in Benue State today, cattle ranching is not sustainable for now. Well, that's your opinion. All right. This one says, good morning, guests in the studio. I'm among the 10 Benue animal scientists sent to Ireland, Europe, to understudy artificial insemination to help in the implementation of anti-open grazing laws. Please, we are still to be engaged. Okay, Joseph Tefa. Then lastly, the state should look for other means to have the ranch in RAV. The statement from the minister and the doctor in the house is offensive to the Tiv Nation. We say no to the plan to protect the poor farmers. Stop the killing so that we can go to our farms. From Otsega Thomas. All right, thank you very much. So DG, here is now the time. But then, okay, we have some on our Facebook page. Okay, nice listening live here in Imo State. My question is the acceptance of these ranches in the state. Those Fulani will not be, okay, one day claim ownership of the land hired to them one day, because I can remember that our parents in years past hired land to, okay, lended land to them, and now in places like Logo, these same people claim the lands are sold to them as their permanent land. So most of this fight we are experiencing is because of those misunderstandings. So how are we sure this will not happen and bring problem again? Okay. It's all right.
Please, can you give us time?
Yes, I'm shorting I've short the course already.
What I mean is that
definitely.
Thank
so,
you.
DG,
Okay.
assessment, the people to be ranched, to be in those ranches, and then somebody that made mention of cattle still roaming about, and then several issues as you can remember.
I want to take you back a bit.
Okay.
And remind you of what prompted this conversation that we're having here.
Okay.
It's about the Honorable Minister's visit and the facility tours that we made.
I think basically it's about the statements that he made that the people, considered pregnant.
What was the statement?
Part of which I played.
Which is?
And then he talked about.
We had
he made reference.
We had clarified that there is no single grazing reserve.
But when you said he's busy, that's why I'm pointing your attention to the fact that it was not just the mere visit, but some of these things he said. But that was why we called on you to clarify.
It's a general statement. When he came for that summit, Nigerians came here from all the states, all over the states, and he was addressing Nigerians at that summit. What you played out there was a statement made at that summit. There are some states that still have gazetted grazing reserves. Here in Benue, there's no single one. And then, the state government, this is the clarification I want to put out there.
Yes.
The state government has not given land, no one has approached the state government to be licensed to operate a ranch. The state government has not given out an inch of Benue land to anyone for ranching. So I want this statement to be clear. Because the conversation there, what people are saying, is all centered around building ranches are given out to people. The state government has not started building ranches to give to people. The state government is interested in resuscitating, reviving what they had as the state government facilities.
Okay.
So that references could be made to them.
Okay.
And then businesses can still thrive for people who want.
As to the environmental assessment that he asked you about, have you done that so far?
That will be conducted, but those places were established before.
Okay.
I will still visit them.
Yeah.
We have looked at them. We are doing all that it requires to do to resuscitate them. We will do.
Okay, so the guy on Facebook, the person on Facebook rather, he expressed fears that sometimes, the question is, yes, the question is heading to somewhere. Later on, they started lanes of those would be established. Okay.
That are roaming about. The place is not even secured. So they are doing the same open grazing.
Okay.
That we are preaching against.
Okay.
The state government had some heads of cattle there. The place is not fenced. So those cattle are still doing open grazing.
Yeah.
So what becomes of the law when the state government itself had some heads of cattle that are doing open grazing?
Okay.
Is it not to resuscitate and keep them in a place so that people can see that the state government that is preaching against open grazing is also doing the right thing?
Okay. All right. Tena Samkange was emphasizing the issue of natural forage. And according to he said the natural forage we have here is quite enough for us. We don't need to go elsewhere looking for.
He's talking from the point of view of a novice.
Okay.
As far as
a layman.
Yes. As far as I'm concerned, he's not quite knowledgeable about this fodder cultivation, the different species that we have. The different breeds that we have of this fodder that we have. He's not quite conversant with them, so he will not understand. It is tested in the lab, and we have some that has very high protein, very high nutritional value, that anywhere in the world, if you produce that, you have off-takers. Some can even pay you 4 years ahead for you to produce those pastures for them.
Okay, DG, as a journalist, I'm also someone interested in development communication, and in development communication, we look at needs assessment. I don't know if your bureau carried out a need assessment to know that what the people really want is to establish some of these, revamp or resuscitate some of this obsolete infrastructure that you talked about.
You see, livestock business is a headache to the state. It has caused us a lot of problem. We still have people lying there in IDP camps. We are trying to think around on the best approach to this so that our people can also rest.
Okay.
They brought in a law on open grazing prohibition. The ideal thing to do and what is expected of the government to do is the government that will lead the campaign against open grazing. Is the government that will lead the campaign for the establishment of ranches. We are trying as a government to demonstrate that so that people can learn from there. And then when we clamp down on them, they will have no excuse to give us. We will say the government itself is ranching its animal. We have animals. We have not disposed of them. They are doing open grazing. So this is the right thing to do. This is the right step to do, to go.
All right. So any other issue you wanted to respond to? That,
unless you bring it
okay,
up.
the ones I have here, we have responded to them now. So over to you, Mr. Pillar. You've listened to the conversation, and then have you been convinced by the DG that we need this?
I don't think so.
Why?
You see, this issue we are discussing here is a very sensitive issue because it touches on our very existence. We are facing an existential threat. And this government, with all due respect, appear to be insensitive. It was on this particular program that the DG of Peace Commission, I appeared on the program with her. The things he told us about IDPs, how they intend to move them to a particular location. The things the DG Peace Commission said here, together with what the DG Livestock is telling us today, are pointing to the fact that our ancestral lands have been, ancestral land has been annexed because he spoke, the DG Peace Commission talked about resettlement of IDPs. The DG said that I asked particularly whether they were going back to the ancestral land, and she said no, that they were going to be moved to somewhere that is more conducive. That even some people might not even want to go back to their various ancestral. And I asked, who is that person? Who will not want to go back to his land? Today, the government is telling us that they want to build or resuscitate, as they want us to believe, the moribund ranches. The government is not telling us about dry season farming. The government is not telling us about improvement they want to bring in crop production. Meanwhile, almost half of the state is occupied by these attackers. And I want to also correct something. There's no conflict between farmers and herders. What you have is attacks, unprovoked attacks. These people come in the middle of the night, kill people. They will kill a pregnant woman, slice his belly, and bring her. So what we are facing is not even conflict. It's pure attacks. Now that our communities have been attacked, people are no longer in those ancestral lands. A government that is sensitive shouldn't be talking about ranches. A government that is sensitive should be talking about bringing these people back to their ancestral lands and looking at how they will get seedlings, they will get seeds to start their crop production, because basically this is what sustains us. We don't eat cows for a living. We don't eat cattle for a living. We eat crops. That is what sustains us.
Okay.
So I'm coming. Now, when you are talking about this thing, there are a lot of fadamancy created. What is the government doing about clearing those lands so that people can go into rice farming and other things? We have a big river here. We should be doing dry season farming. What is the government doing in this regard? No. What the government is interested in is ranch. They say one thing today. The next day you hear a different statement. It was the chief prosecutor of the governor who made the statement. Dr. Ansambe here came out that same evening to counter him. What are they not telling us? Today they are saying, let us establish first, then we'll look at other things. Who does that? You are supposed to have done these things. Like you say, needs assessment. What is the EIA? What are the things? Who is going to occupy those ranches? Let us know first. But you say, no, this is not important. We'll establish. That is not correct.
I think at the point he said they would be done.
Now, okay, they'll say they will be done. But this should have been done before bringing out the issue of resuscitation. Okay. Have we made an arrangement to bring the Minister of Agriculture to Benue? Because Benue is the food basket of the nation. And if our food basket is threatened, government should be looking towards that regard and not on the other way around. Now, when they talked about open grazing prohibition and ranches establishment law being enforced, I tell you that there have been attempts to repeal this law in this government. During the public hearing, of the civil gas protection law that is already in place. It was a bill before the State House of Assembly. During the public hearing, there was a clause that sought to repeal the open grazing prohibition and ranches establishment law. It was a lawyer who attended the public hearing in Kasala that raised an observation. The lawyer said that that particular bill was introduced 10 minutes into the end of the public hearing. At a point, everybody was already exhausted. And so when he raised that observation and brought out the particular clause that sought to repeal the open grazing, that was when every Benue person rose. There were a lot of cries and attacks for the government. And so they could not repeal that law during that time. What they are doing now is to come behind and annex our land to certain persons we have always had complaints of. So please, let the government be sincere with us. They should tell us what is their improvement in agriculture, particularly crop production. What is their improvement in rice farming? What is their improvement in granules, in soybeans, in oranges, in other crops and yams, particularly? And so if that is not done, I think that we are headed for doom. That's my take for now.
All right. Okay. Lastly, good morning, Mr. Fallon and your guest in the studio. I'm Kanti Michael from Gado Villa. Your guests have spoken well and on the topic that it must admit. My concerns is that we have a law in Benue State prohibiting open grazing established by immediate past administration. Why is the law not being implemented to put an end to all this? All right, Mr. DG, it's about time to your last words. Respond to him and then your last words.
Something he said here that I must comment about it. He said there were plans to repeal the open grazing prohibition and establishment of ranches.
Okay, anti-open grazing.
That is a big fat lie. What happened was that the creation of that law provided for livestock guards. So there was, as at that time, in existence, the livestock guards and the volunteer guards. The amendment sought to merge the livestock guard and the volunteer guards and establish the civil protection guard. That was the only section that was tampered with. So that statement is not correct.
It's all right.
I want the correct statement to get to the people.
Okay.
It was for the purpose of establishing the civil protection guard. So my message to the people of Benue is that livestock business has come to stay in this country because the federal government first set up Presidential Livestock Reform Implementation Committee. That committee worked and brought out some recommendations to the federal government, and the federal government, in implementing part of the recommendations, established the Federal Ministry of Livestock Development. That is to tell you that the central government, which is the driver of the national economy, is keen into livestock development. So whether Benue boycotts livestock business, the business will still go ahead. So I am urging our people to compete favorably in the livestock industry. Be you Tiv, be you Doma, Igede, Etilo, let us compete and then get the benefits that will come therein and learn to embrace the modern animal husbandry practices that will solve the crisis that have bedeviled the state over the years.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Aondaka Asambi, the Director General, Bureau of Livestock Development and Transboundary Animal Diseases Control, for your thoughts on the program.
Thank you very much. Thank you, listeners.
And I hope Benue people have, listened to the enlightenment about what you brought and the programs of resuscitating the
existing livestock facilities.
All right. Also, Mr. Pila, we're totally out of time. I wish the time would be extended, but I'd like to appreciate you so much for your thoughts on the program.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, just a sentence.
We are totally out of time.
Yeah, it is not correct to be combative. If you are from the government or as a government, people are not clear about a particular policy, it is the duty of the government to give us clarification and not be combative. That is not correct. The position you hold in government today, you are only holding it in trust because we gave you the powers. We gave you the powers in trust to hold for us. Don't be combative. Tell us when we are not cleared. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Well, that's a program for today. Thank you very much. Join us Friday for another edition. My name is Fanen Kouanum.